Episode 28, Executive Protection Officer or Logistician. Welcome to Executive Protection Insights, the podcast that dives deep into the strategies, tools, and real-world dynamics shaping today's executive protection industry. I'm your host, Liam, and this is episode 28. Today's episode is a question, a challenge, really. Are executive protection officers also logisticians? Or are the best ones already operating as both? Because if you're just protecting bodies, you're missing the bigger picture. Modern executive protection is about protecting people, schedules, operations, and even reputations. And that means understanding logistics down to the finest thread. We're going to explore how high-level protection seamlessly intersects with logistics, and why your ability to manage the flow of a principal's life is now a baseline expectation for top-tier agents. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with clear reasons why logistical mastery isn't optional and practical tools to start integrating it into your protection strategy today. Let's dive in. The expanding job description. Let's rewind. Executive protection, traditionally, was all about physical safety, secure the perimeter, keep eyes on the crowd, maintain distance, watch for threats, and don't get me wrong, those fundamentals still matter. But now, you're expected to do all that plus manage ground transportation and airport transitions, coordinate hotel bookings and walkthroughs, pre-approve restaurant layouts, ensure dietary restrictions, preferences, even lighting and mood are set. Why? Because the modern principal doesn't want a bodyguard. They want a frictionless life. And that's what makes us invaluable. We don't just shield them, we shape their environment. Movement as a mission. Let's start with movement, the most visible piece of the puzzle. You plan routes, sure, but that's the tip of the iceberg. A protection-minded logistician thinks about timing arrivals to avoid crowds, understanding street traffic patterns by the hour, confirming valet access and service lift availability, coordinating driver shift changes and fuel refills without interrupting the flow. I've seen details crumble because no one confirmed that the loading dock, the planned discreet exit, was blocked for a wine delivery. That's not just an inconvenience, it's an exposure. Compare that to when everything works. The vehicle pulls up just as the principal steps outside. The door opens. The seat is already warm or cool. Their favorite music is on. The car glides through side streets and stops precisely at a private side entrance. That's not luck. That's logistics. Hotel rooms, elevators, and environmental control. Let's talk accommodation. A room isn't just a place to sleep. It's a temporary safe house. Here's how logistics enhances protection. Selecting floors with controlled access, booking rooms away from elevators and stairwells, inspecting adjoining doors, vetting housekeeping staff, ideally with hotel security's assistance, setting up electronic jammers or surveillance countermeasures when appropriate. I've had clients walk into a suite and pause, not because anything was wrong, but because everything was right. Lighting, privacy, temperature, amenities already placed. They didn't notice the layout was chosen for optimal exit visibility or that the balcony was secured. But that's the point. We remove threat vectors before they're even perceived. Dining logistics more than a meal. Now dining, it's one of the most underestimated EP zones. If you're walking into a restaurant with a client, you're already behind. The work should be done hours before reviewing floor plans and choosing a table with backs to walls and exits in view, ensuring reserved seating under an alias if necessary, coordinating arrival timing to avoid media or high-profile guests, confirming staff discretion, and vetting for past leaks. Here's a quick story. We were supporting a client attending a casual dinner after a high-stakes meeting. Nothing flashy, just a quiet place to decompress, or so we thought. One Instagram post from a waiter, tagging the client, led to a surge of fans outside within 20 minutes. We had to reroute mid-dinner and pull out the secondary location plan. From then on, every dining location was treated like a tactical environment. Discretion is security. Schedules, anticipation, and decision fatigue. Let's talk about what we really protect, mental bandwidth. Executives, heads of state, UHNW individuals, they're overloaded. Our job isn't just to watch their back. It's to make sure they never have to ask, where are we going next? Why are we delayed? Who's driving today? Where's the quiet room? When you manage logistics correctly, their schedule flows, their mood stabilizes, their performance sharpens, you protect the space between the events, and that's where stress, risk, and threats often creep in. Think of it like this. Logistics is the preventive medicine of executive protection. Tools of the trade, logistics in practice. Let's ground this in some practical tools you should be using. Digital itineraries and redundancies. Tools like Advanced Work, Google Workspace, or Outlook calendar integrations. Communications matrix. One master contact list with drivers, venue managers, hotel security, and PAs. Separate group chats for core team versus peripheral assets. Recon reports. Pre-event documentation covering layouts, exits, lighting, surveillance presence, VIP flow. Travel sync sheets. Real-time tracking of flights. Private jet crews. Car assignments and crew rotations. Contingency templates. Ready-made pivot plans. Secondary routes, holding locations, shelter-in-place points. If you're not running your detail like an operations command post, you're leaving efficiency on the table. And where there's inefficiency, there's risk. The logistics mindset equals proactive protection. The best operators I've worked with all share the same mindset. They don't wait. They prepare. They don't just think about safety in the heat of the moment. They think about comfort, flow, predictability, and control before there's even a threat. Why? Because preparation eliminates exposure, and consistency builds trust. I've seen protectees turn to their EPs for life logistics because those EPs earned the right to be that trusted. They showed reliability through 100 little wins, and that trust, that becomes armor. Key takeaways. Let's bring it all together with some tactical takeaways from today's episode. Executive protection today demands logistical fluency. Movement, accommodation, time management, it's all in your lane now. Small details equal big wins. Every seamless movement removes stress and risk. The logistics mindset makes you indispensable. You're not just guarding, you're enabling performance and protecting peace of mind. Tools matter. From recon sheets to group comms, your planning systems are your edge. Anticipation is protection. Don't just be reactive. Build environments that don't need saving. That wraps up episode 28 of Executive Protection Insights. If you take one thing from today, let it be this. The best protectors make everything look effortless. And that's only possible when logistics are tight, rehearsed, and constantly refined. If this episode sparks something in you, do me a favor. Subscribe, share it with your team, and leave a review. It helps other protectors find the show and sharpen their edge. You can find tools mentioned in this episode and more insights at advancedwork.app, where EP meets innovation. Until next time, stay ahead, stay ready, and remember, protection is not just physical, it's operational, it's logistical, it's total.